What's a classic album? What started
So
this
have
one
we
up, B?
have we it kind of stemmed from like what Dom said, and then I saw people talking about, oh, this is a classic, this is a classic, and it kind of brought me back to 2012, 2013 when I started hearing classic more and more and more. Um and I don't know if we had this discussion before. Have we laid out the definitions of a classic on this platform?
I don't think so. We've
Um
always talked about what was the last classic, but we never
yeah,
laid
we
it
talked
out
about
though.
that. Yeah. But what I'm thinking about, if when I had that last classic discussion, I kind of was thinking personal for me a little bit, a little bit. But if we actually think about a classic album and we want to go from the definition of like if we go back and not being in those times and kind of understanding, okay, what hip hop was and how I want to say the ancestors looked at it, the hip hop ancestors.
Old heads.
um, if I hear an album, if I think of an album like Illmatic, if I think of an album like Ready to Die, and them albums right there, them two albums is like definition of like classic albums. If I think of like Late Registration, I think of like College Dropout. Those to me are like, especially the College Dropout, are like classic albums. Think about Wu-Tang Clan, classic album. 36 Chambers. Just because, of course, it wasn't an 18-year-old putting out that type of work like Nas. That poetic and that, that storytelling, making you see the imagery, and like making like just painting the picture like that, especially at that age. The album was amazing. Ready to Die, we didn't see a hip hop artist that looked like Biggie, rapped like Biggie, rapped on like, what P. Diddy did with the new soul sampling. He did what he was doing with like Mary J. Blige and them and put it on Biggie. We didn't see that before. Classic. Wu-Tang Clan, you got 8 different MCs rapping on dusty beats, crazy, talking about all type of wild stuff and being from the barrel nobody really cares about, and just all these guys has very unique styles, and you have unique characters. Classic. College Dropout, Kanye West was a producer coming to rapping, not just stereotypical tough guy rapper, rapping on soulful beats, bringing it back, making people connect to him, and from college life and all this type of stuff. I'm just saying, like, if you think about those albums that actually made some type of movement, they made a stance, like they pushed the genre. They, you know what I'm saying? They were like, dang, this is growth here. Think of we get modern. We think of Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City, bringing conceptual albums back to the mainstream. You got hits, you got storytelling, you got emotion. I'm saying, to me, that brings some classic. And if we want to go a little different, we go Freddie Gibbs Pinata. Got from Gary, Indiana, underground, a rapper, you know, his career got reinsurgence. Went, it wasn't like too crazy with, Jeezy at the Jeezy era, but you come over here with Madlib, underground legend, producer, and you got Gary, Indiana, Freddie Gibbs rapping on these crazy beats, talking that gangster stuff. Just, blew our mind. But that's a classic to us, underground classic. But you just got to think about it, B. We not calling classics classics no more, B. We calling good to great albums classics now. Just because this album is a good album or a great album to you, to me, is not a classic. I feel like a lot of these albums is getting classic title onto them, and they don't deserve it. They don't. Stop calling some of these album classics. I saw that. Look, GNX not a classic. I'm sorry.
Yes. Yes.
It's
Say
not
it.
a classic.
Say it again, B. It has a classic moment surrounding it.
Classic moment. He created a classic moment. Just like he created a classic moment with Control Verse. Classic moment. The bars wasn't over your head. Classic moment. Presence. That's it. It's not a classic album, B. GNX them this conversation, B.
But I thought it was hip hop's thriller. That's what I've been told. Glasses Malone and Busby told me that GNX is hip hop's thriller.
You know what hip hop thriller is, B?
What?
Views. I'm just saying, from the pop success, numbers wise, accolades, That was a huge album. If you talk about the singles on that joint, the numbers that album didn't they like almost what 90,000 in a week, nine
Nine
hundred
hundred
thousand in a
thousand,
week. Yeah,
almost a
like
million,
the
or
numbers
maybe
is
close to.
insane. That album sold a lot. But I don't know how it's a hip hop thriller. What was the comp? Like what made them think of that?
Because they Glazers be. That's why they just keep like saying that. They just randomly be saying that. Or they
Hey
sometimes will
B,
look at the numbers and stats for GNX, like Kendrick just ain't go off on the Super Bowl. He'd be like, this really is hip hop's thriller. Because they said that before the whole Super Bowl, but now after the Super Bowl, now after all these numbers that Kendrick is doing currently, they're like, oh, GNX really is hip hop's thriller. And I'm just like, where the F are y'all getting this correlation from?
yeah, I don't
Stop
know.
that ish. Stop
But
it.
yeah, it's some great albums out there that we deem as classics, and I think classic is kind of I don't know. I think a classic is held to a higher standard. Like it did something that wasn't been done before. It was something that was like, man, that brings you back. That like bring you back to a time where we didn't hear nothing like this. You know what I'm saying? Like this kind of blew my mind. That's what I'm saying. When you think of like, if I get to start naming out legendary artists, and you'll see like Outkast, you think about they first few albums. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, I could name an artist, you'll be like, dang, think about they dope album, they classic album. You're like, yo, what gives you that same feeling, B? That's what I'm saying. A lot of these albums that we claiming as classics are not.
So what do you think is an album that we claim as classics that isn't? Not us specifically, but people in general. Because I think the thing is this, and I've said this before,
Astroworld not a
we could
classic.
we could still have great albums, and I think
Yeah.
the term magnum opus has been lost. We've destroyed the term magnum opus and we replace it with classic instead. Or we destroyed the term
444,
great.
it's not a
Yeah,
classic.
to me, it's not even top five Jay-Z, but that's a different discussion for another day. Because a lot of people will die behind that album. I don't get why, but hey, go ahead if y'all want to.
Hey,
Um,
Forest Hill Drive is not a classic. For Your Eyes Only is not a classic.
I agree. And those are the two that people love to use. I think I saw that under your video too. And I was like, what the
Yeah, yeah,
the numbers?
yeah.
Oh my God. If we go off the numbers, and every Drake album is a classic, if that's the case.
Nothing Was the Same is not a classic. It's not a classic. It's not.
Drake's magnum opus, but okay, we could
Take
go there.
Care,
Classic.
classic,
But nothing was the
classic.
same was his magnum opus.
No.
Moving on.
Why do people like that album? I'm gonna
I
make a
love
video
that
about that
album.
album. I don't
You
know why
need
people
to.
like that album.
But how about this? We gotta find the criteria of what makes a classic album a classic album. You said that it has to have what does it have to have? I think it should be something that pushes the genre forward, impact,
Mm-hmm.
influence.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it like this, but if I'm going off of that, you know what I'm about to say. You
What?
know what I'm about to say.
Say it.
Playboy Cardi's Whole Lot of Red. That is the last classic album in hip hop that we gotten.
No.
I think so, B.
How did it push the genre forward?
What is necessarily, how do we define push the genre forward? That's another question now.
No, 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 no. My thing is when you got Tupac, right? If I mention
Okay.
Me Against the World, I mentioned All Eyes on Me. Classic
Okay.
albums, right?
Okay.
Who did Tupac influence be? Other artists that put out classic albums. And I can name no, 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 wait.
Okay.
I feel like when you push the genre and you influence sometimes you got influence for the good. I know I did a video. I mean, I had a clip last year that was kind of crazy about Chief Keef, right? Chief Keef was, I said, he influenced the game, but did he influence it in a good way? We get
Well, see,
Good Kid,
where
Mad
see
City. No,
now,
no,
now,
no, no,
now,
no,
now,
no,
no.
no,
See,
no, no,
now
no.
we get
I
into
can
the
do it. I
weeds and
can do it.
semantics
I
of
can do
things.
it. I
Cause
can
see,
do
now
it.
this
I
gets
can do it.
subjective of
I can do it.
what is
I can do it. I
good.
can do it. I can do it. Look, I said Travis Scott. Playboy Cardi, whole lot of red. All it did is influence a whole lot of little kids trying to be just like him in the underground. It ain't pushing nothing, B. It haven't influenced nobody but them little dusty little Negroes wearing skinny jeans and dreads and having little fake guns.
The
It's pushing
YNs.
nothing. B, if it pushed something, we'll be like, yo, Yeet next up. Yeet is that guy. We ain't even mention Yeet.
What about MF Doom then?
What you mean MF Doom? Boy, MF Doom feature. Boy, I can name so much. But why you better get up out of here,
What
boy. What
what
are you
what
talking
stuff
about?
mainstream wise that was MF Doom inspired?
What do you mean?
Okay, so wait.
Hold up,
No.
what do you mean?
So you saying that classics have to stem
So
from
you don't
that
think
classic?
Lupe Fiasco was freaking influenced by MF Doom? You don't think I
It
can name
depends.
multiple of artists that's legendary that Doom is their guy?
But you I thought you said a classic has to stem from the classic.
Tyler Creator influenced by Doom. Earl Sweatshirt. And I could name people. I ain't saying they gotta make a classic album, but they gotta influence hip hop in a way.
Playboy
No, no,
Cardi?
no. What he influenced B?
The rage subgenre?
But it hadn't pushed anything. They ain't doing nothing. These kids not doing nothing, B.
Didn't Yeet
So
drop
Tyler
two
Creator
albums last year
didn't
and he
push
sold over
anything?
100,000 in the first week last year?
Who?
Yeet?
Why we gonna mention him, B?
What do you mean? Why
He's
didn't we
the next
mention him?
star. I'm saying, is he
He
the
don't
next
have a
star?
classic album. He was up and
But
coming.
I'm
But
saying,
B, no. See, because this is the thing. These YNs, the ones that Playboy Cardi done created, they're all underground. He is their god. Whole lot of red pushed the culture. It made a
all
whole.
right. Look, maybe it's gonna take me a while to understand this. Maybe I'm an old head in this in
You
this
gotta
in this situation. I'm
be
an old head.
the big three in the underground for these kids. It's either Playboy Cardi, Ken Carson, or Destroy Lonely. Put Yeet in there as the bench warmer, even though the team is supposed to be five. Yeet is the bench warmer. These are
I
their
thought Yeet
Yeet is
had
bigger than all of
like
them. He's
yeah
bigger than all of
yeah.
them, yes. But when it comes to the underground big three, because a lot of people they took Yeet out because he's like, oh, he's too mainstream now. See, them kids are becoming like y'all when you was younger. B, he's too mainstream
I was
now.
yeah.
Yeah, so these kids, Playboy Cardi, he's the king. He's the god. You can never step on him. You got to think him, Ken Carson, Destroy Lonely. That's the underground big three. Opium. That's the underground big three for those kids. B. It goes back to the
The music
Tupac and
has to
Biggie
be
situation.
beat.
It
I
goes
know it's
back
all
to that.
subjective. It's all subjective, but I think the music got to be good.
That's very subjective because a lot of kids love these artists. These artists are come and
Whole
go.
lot of red is not better than Dalit. I'm sorry.
Nothing was the same as better than Take Care, but Take Care is the classic.
You say what? Boy, get up out of here. Take care is better than nothing was the same. B. B. Nothing was the same is not better than Take Care. How do y'all what about that album? That album does not connect.
Drake was more focused on Nothing Was the Same, B. He was more concentrated. He was in his baggy bag on Nothing Was the Same. B. Tuscan Leather. That intro was hard. Was it? Furthest Thing. Hard. Wu Tang Forever. Hard. Even though
We having
Starting
a
from the
different
Bottom was before that. That's a different
B.
discussion. We've had this
B.
discussion.
Take Care
But B.
highs. We talked about this. It's way
We
higher.
did. But Nothing Was the Same is more consistent. Because Take Care got some lows too.
Do nothing was the same got anything compared to Crew Love.
Furthest Thing
Oh
or
boy,
From
now he's
Furthest
smiling.
Thing
Now
or
he's
From Time.
smiling. Now
Furthest Thing
he's
or From
smiling.
Time. Furthest Thing or
He's
From Time.
smiling. Now he's
Furthest
smiling.
Thing
He can't
or
think,
From Time.
but it's not close to Crew Love. B. B,
B.
you gonna get me, bro? They gonna have a noise complaint.
Hey.
I think. Oh, look. Let's just close this classic conversation because I guess none of us know what a classic is.
Because for me, I think a classic is something that because look at 808s and Heartbreaks. That's a perfect example. You
What you
know,
mean?
B 808s and Heartbreaks and I'm about to say Day and
It's a
Night. Man on the
controversial
Moon.
album. It's a
Man
controversial
on the
album.
Moon. But I'm saying though, a lot of the old heads will look at the music that stemmed from that and be like, oh, that's album's fault. Or these little kids, they don't know how to make music. All they want to do is use auto-tune. You can look at that being that'll be subjective. That's why I'm saying we can't really deem stuff like that because
Yeah,
the stuff that we still think is classic. Like look at Lil Wayne. People are not turning on Lil Wayne from back then. And be like, yo, Lil Wayne really wasn't rapping that well. And look at all the stuff that he done stemmed from. He don't really got no class. CB. That's where the
yeah.
conversation gets a
I
lot
could,
muddied. We need
I
to
could concede to
define.
that point.
That's why
Bringing
I
up
say
808
if
Heartbreak, I can understand. I got you.
and Man on the Moon because we know
It's a
old heads
classic.
don't really like that album like that. No, I call
Hey,
B.
so I
You
know,
know
but
me.
look, some old
808s
heads,
and Day and Night is classic.
but
You
look,
know I'm saying that.
yeah, but some old heads to be like, all right, that's one of them. Even though they don't
Some
like, they probably.
B. Now let's get to the old heads on Twitter and let's ask them if them two albums is classics. And do they like the music off of that?
Well, I can't
Do
believe
they
they
like the
found
artist that
Twitter.
stemmed off of that? That's what I'm saying, B. Like stuff like that. This is going to that point where you're saying the music got to be good. I'm pretty sure they saying the same thing about Man on the Moon and
But
all
that's
that.
why I'm saying maybe I'm an old head when it comes to like when it comes to that era. That's when I get in my old
That's why,
headism. Even
for
though
me,
Playboy
I think.
Cardi, I made Playboy Cardi pop it. My generation.
hmm But guess
I'm just
what? He
saying.
influenced a whole nother generation. They hold him up as God now. That's what I'm saying for us. I think we have to have certain criteria like did it influence?
Yeah.
What is the influence? What is the impact? Even though I don't like to put impact because then that comes in the numbers and people like to
But I
do
don't
that.
think 808 and Heartbreak is a I don't know if it's a universal classic.
But to me, it shifted the culture.
It
And
did.
that's the thing. It shifts the culture. Something has to shift the culture. It has to move it.
But without 808 and Heartbreaks, you still could get some other stuff. Without Love Below, will we get 808s and Heartbreaks?
What about Man on the Moon? Without Man on the Moon, then what?
Without Man on the Moon, we wouldn't have got 808s and Heartbreaks because a lot of that was Kid Cudi.
But I'm saying a lot of old heads. You know where I'm going at. A lot of old heads do not like Man on the Moon. They will be if you were to give an old head Man on the Moon now, they would they would rip that to shreds. You know they would.
Embrace the Martian. Even though that's on I understand me. Hey,
That's why
I
we have
just
to
think a
come up
class
with concrete definitions rather than because you could play in a subjectivity game. We need to come up with concrete definitions, stuff that we can't like
it
change.
just
Like, oh,
I think it's hard. Like, yes, I tried to paint the picture in the beginning on how I feel it was a classic album, but overall, this all kind of rounds up to like when it comes to something that's subjective, that's something that based off other people's opinion, it's kind of hard to say it's a classic. You know what I'm
but
saying?
you want to know why I think it's harder for a classic to be deemed a classic now? I think hip hop is too broad now.
Hmm.
Back then, it was more traditional. It was easier for you to maneuver and pivot on certain things. Now, hip hop is too broad to where it's like there's too much subjectivity to where things is there's stuff that isn't universal anymore. I think that
Hmm.
really came in with Man on the Moon and 808s and Heartbreaks. I think that was a tipping point of like, even though we consider that a classic, and it is a classic, no matter how you look at it, a lot of old heads would not look at that as a classic. But
Hmm.
I think because it done separated the genres, created subgenres and things like that, it's made hip hop way too broad for us to call
Hmm.
certain things genres, and it's more niche stuff than there as I guess, a whole classic. So if you really want to go in a conversation, there can be no classic past. After Man on the Moon and 808s. So hip hop is too broad because there's nothing that we can all come to a universal consensus on.
But I think we got to have a part two of this because I have so many more thoughts. I can't take it out right now though. I can't fully think about it right now because it's gonna go a whole nother way.
Mhm.
We're gonna just leave it at that. What you guys think is a classic? Because I
Yeah,
know we
let's.
start rambling. What y'all think is a classic? Because I think everybody have. It's all subjective when it comes to art. B. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
but we all call Illmatic a classic. Is
Oh
Reasonable
yeah,
Doubt
it's
a
a classic.
classic?
Yeah.
Is Blueprint a classic?
Oh yeah.
We gotta start going to that. It just gets hard.
Mhm.
Yeah. And let us know what y'all think was the last classic and what specifically defines a classic. Let us know in the comment section down below.
Man, shout out to Beyond Beats and Culture.